It's obviously a fight that everybody's looking forward to, but you know, an emotional one. I know you still have to deal with a press conference, you still have to deal with face-offs, all that. Is it difficult to prepare yourself and to kind of manage the emotions ahead of a fight like this?
No, not really. It's just the juggling act is focusing on making the weight and getting your workouts in, but then also having to, get everything else done, all the obligations. Because all you want to do is like cut the weight, lay down, relax, get ready to cut the weight again. But I enjoy it.
I was going to ask you if you do. I mean, you guys kind of look like you have a little bit of fun when you go back and forth at each other, but is it a little annoying to have to deal with it, or do you kind of enjoy having a rivalry in your career?
No, I don't mind it. I like it to a certain extent, especially when you don't like the guy. So I definitely don't mind it. But after a little while, like the way I am personally, when it comes to like what's more important, now it's fight week. Now it's time to make weight. Like I don't have that extra energy to still be fucking around with that. Like we'll deal with that after when we start rehydrating. But like, dude's got too much fucking energy.
I was gonna ask you, I mean, is there a part of you that hopes that this is a career, like a rivalry that lingers throughout your career? Do you hope like this is it, we've had enough, let's move on?
My career is winding down, man. So I mean, linger throughout the career is a weird thing to think about. It's not like I'm gonna be around for another decade of me and him going at it. I just don't fucking like him. He doesn't like me. And I don't think I ever will. I don't think he ever will. And I'm okay with that. I learned in life, like not everybody's gonna be your people. Not everybody's gonna like you. You're not gonna like everybody. That's just the way it goes in life. But you don't have to be a pushover to those people. You don't have to listen to their bullshit. And that's also who I am. And he doesn't like that.
That's the last thing for me. When you touched on it, I said, hey, the career's kind of winding down a little bit, but a lot of big news this week is for the future of this organization. Have you thought about how that impacts you at all and what you see for next year, jumping back into the season or maybe exploring some of these other career paths that might be open with this new partnership?
Yeah, I actually have. I feel like it's almost like a fate thing in a sense. I was just in the other room and I didn't know how I was going to go about letting everybody do this or know this and whatever. And he was even saying some shit in the interviews the other day and I'm like, bro, you have no fucking idea what's even on my mind. But this is the last time that any of you are gonna see me fight at 45. I've spoken to my family all year, spoken to my loved ones, friends, my daughter, everything, and like nobody wants me to make this weight anymore. So the only person that could even bring me out to do it again is this fucking guy. And it's because I want to put my hands on him. And if I don't, you want to all know the truth? I tried to fight him at 55 because this fight doesn't mean anything. Because we're both big, we both cut weight, I want to be healthy, and I want to fight the guy. He forcefully pulling me all the way, not just to 46, but to 45 to have this fight. And he says, I'm fucking Karen. You want to really fight? We're all cutting weight anyway. We could have fought at 55. We could have done that. But here I am one more time because he deserves it. He needs to get it.
Do you anticipate a heated face-off with him, or do you feel like maybe you guys are going to shock us all and just be kind of normal in there? You get to save it for the fight, or are you going to have some words?
I couldn't even tell you. I'm not I don't plan face-offs or anything like that. Like most of the times I walk up there, I'm just doing my thing, handling business. But I will play to what that person is doing or giving because I don't deal with disrespect. And he's always habitually line stepping when it comes to disrespect. So if he wants to be normal, we're gonna be fine. If he wants to be a piece of shit, there could be a fight up there. Because I'm not fucking around with that guy.
Thank you.
Chris, based on what Bubba was saying earlier and everything leading up to this fight, it seems to some extent that this is almost more personal for him as the attacks have come more personal, more specific, and more consistent. When you step into the cage on Friday, is there going to be any personal animosity going into that fight, or is it just business as usual? Is he just another guy there?
No, it's all fucking personal. And he's literally a nutcase because it's all on his end. Like, the whole thing started all I did was talk about how much respect I had for him coming from the same community as me, being a national champion wrestler, how much I value that, and but believing in myself, saying, but it's not a wrestling match, it's an MMA fight, I'm a veteran. This was the first fight, the semis. Saying, you know, I believe in myself. So offended by that. How dare I have faith in myself? How dare I, right? God forbid. And the back and forth shit at the press conference started then. I want to punch Chris Wade right in his mouth, and his antics start, and it goes from there. If he was like, yo, I respect what he had to say, he wrestled too, respect, be like me and Braga are, friendly, but you know, we had to fight. But he can't handle that. He can't handle it. So here we are. This has just snowballed and snowballed. And he says stuff constantly in interviews that are personal, they're offensive. And like, my people don't like it, my family doesn't like it, my friends don't like it. And they take it to heart. And they like to see him fail. And they saw him fail in person in the semis, and that's why he's so wound up and wants to fight me. It's because my family was there after he got TKO'd. They let him know, you know, you ran your mouth and look at you now. And he's butthurt about it. It's in his head, it plays over and over, and he needs to try to like vindicate, you know, somehow. And that's why we're here. We're here because he's looking for this new start to next season and try to wash off the bad, like all the bad, and they're allowing him to do that. It's not because they came to me like, hey Chris, we want to give you this. This is coming from that end. So come get it.
Chris, I think we have a pretty good idea of what this means for you personally, but what does it look like when you win professionally? What's going to be next? Like, what do you kind of see for yourself in the future?
Man, I don't know. I'm at a point where it's a little emotional because it's been such a good like long run, you know, and it was like I was about to basically tell you guys like, you know, this is definitely it, and now this like Bellator signing like 2 days ago, now I don't know, like I don't know, does that mean there is an opportunity for me to fight at a weight that's healthy for me again? If that's the case, then I would love to do that. I still love to compete, but if that's not something that they want to allow or they want me to be a part of, then maybe I do something else. I don't know, in some capacity in and around the organization. I would still love to do that, but love being a part of fighting. I love being around this. I love being around you guys, and I always want to be a part of it. And what that part is leading up, going into next year, I don't know. But I just know that right now, I got nothing to lose. I got a man to beat up. And that's it. That's why we're here this week.
Thank you.
Chris, just going off kind of the disrespect that you mentioned there, he just called you when he was in here his easiest opponent he's had in his career. And I just wanted to ask you,
Yeah, it makes sense.
where you would rank him amongst your toughest opponents, because that was the original question asked him.
He's a psychopath, man. Really. Obviously, he's not my easiest opponent, right? I am not mentally ill. He's a great wrestler. He's one of the best grapplers I've ever fought. He doesn't come off when he speaks like he's intelligent, but his IQ in grappling is like sky high, man. He's got like Elon Musk grappling IQ. I know adjustments that I watched him make from the first fight to the second fight, and like not that many people can make those adjustments, and he made like each and every one of them. And I guarantee you he did those things himself. I don't think it was like his coaches being like, here's where you went wrong. Like, he went and looked, he knew what he did. And you have to look out for that, man, because if he gets into dominant positions, it's almost like a check, like you're just trapped. So you got to keep him off you, because if you don't, it's a long night.
And then just as for, you know, Washington DC, first time fighting here, the capital of the country. Is that a cool thing for you, or try to treat it as a normal, normal fight?
I don't give a shit. This place is loaded with libs, and I don't like it. That's how I feel.
Fair enough.
Chris, you've had a great career. One of the people you fought, you actually wrestled against Colby Covington in junior college. Do you think, in the moment, did you think he had the potential to become this good, and how do you think he does at UFC 296?
Yeah, man, I lost to Colby in the national finals, the JUCO national finals, and I didn't really know who he was at the time. I just knew he was John's roommate, because I knew John from, we graduated the same year. We won states the same year in high school wrestling, so me and John knew one another. That was at 165. I'm fighting 145 today. Like, what has happened? What's going on right now? But no, man, this was so right before all the fighting stuff cracked off. So you didn't know who was a fighter, who wasn't a fighter. But I could tell you that dude was strong. Like, all the points were getting scored on me off of, I would get in on him, I would go to score, and he would just counter at the last second and do something and squeeze me. And I remember saying to myself, like, I'm in the wrong weight class right now. I'm getting squeezed here. He just was putting it on me. And now he's fighting at 170. It kind of makes sense, right? But yeah, I knew he was something. Not too many people can just like have their way with me in grappling situations. And he was one of them that like made me kind of feel like I don't belong in that weight. And that was eye-opening for me. I knew he was a problem.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris, I know you said between the first and second fight how Bubba had like fine-tuned his wrestling so much.
Mm-hmm.
Was that second fight, that loss, was part of that the wrestling and part of that the weight cut, or like what are you looking back on it?
Nah, I mean, I'm not blaming the weight cut. I mean, I fought great the last two fights at 45. I think I could be in the finals right now. I could be. Obviously, a split decision, right? You could be. It wasn't that. It's just like flat. Didn't want to be there. Didn't want to climb the mountain again, so to speak. Like the season, like you have to navigate through. It's like landmines, like Bubba and Brendan and Movlead and this, and like you have to make it through, like up through each one. And I had already done it like 4 times. It starts to get discouraging. Like, God, how many times are you gonna make me do this before I actually get that belt? You know, I actually get the reward. And I was feeling sorry for myself coming off the Brendan fight, like just depressed. Like, can't believe I was the 1 seed, didn't win. Don't want to climb this mountain again. And then like that fight woke me up, actually, because I was just like checked out.
What a best 2 out of 3 win over Bubba mean to you at this point?
It's why I'm standing here, man. I told you I don't want to do that. I don't want to be at this weight. I asked for 55. They basically told me off. I didn't want to fight at this weight. I wanted to fight, go back to lightweight. And I figured he's a pretty big guy too. I figured like it would be a break for both of us, you know? We both cut weight. I wasn't trying to like screw him over by it. I thought maybe it would be a break before the holiday for both of us. We could both compete, both make money for our families, and not kill ourselves doing it. And it was like crickets. So I don't know, man, but here we are. 1 day to go.
Best of luck, man.
Thank you.
I asked Bubba when he was in here if he would have preferred to fight you or for the title if he had that opportunity right now. Say someone misses weight, he's the backup. You know, he said he would fight for the title, but it seemed like he was not quite sure. And I'm wondering what your answer to that question would be.
Title. Yeah. I mean, this rivalry's not that important. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like that. Not at all. Like, if I had the opportunity to fight for the million and the belt and everything, like, that was way more important than, I need to settle this feud, you know?
Not for me.
No.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you said, I thought you had one more. You were saying one more. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you.